Well, I am live. Oh, wait a minute. I'm Brent Leary. Something was supposed to happen after that. Let me try it again. I'm Brent Leary. Yeah, it ain't working. So unfortunately, the venerable Paul Greenberg is having some technical difficulties at the moment. He may have to go to plan B, which would be like not in the studio confines with the really cool video gear. But hey, if he makes it, he makes it, because that's all that matters. Because we are the CRM Playaz, and if I can do this right, we've been bringing the as since 2009. We're almost up to year 16. Wow, kind of hard to believe, but yes, we are the CRM Playaz, and hopefully the venerable Paul Greenberg will be joining us very shortly. We have a kind of a unique show. We weren't really planning on the technical difficulties bringing the uniqueness, but we have a otherwise unique show. It's like a half and half kind of show. Actually, it's we're gonna do like our live stuff, 30 minutes of live, talking about some stuff that's going on, uh talking about some stuff that's going on PBN, and of course Stump the Godfather. Although this might be a really harsh Stump the Godfather, because I'm guessing the venerable Paul Greenberg will not be in the greatest of, might not be too happy with the technical difficulties. Anyway, we're still going to do Stump the Godfather if he comes on. Okay. All right. He has figured it out. He is coming on. I'll start over and say, I'm Brent Leary.
Oh, I was just going to say I'm Paul Greenberg and just sort of say it.
No,
when you were going to do it.
I've been tap dancing for like the last 3 minutes. So
yeah, figured it out.
What was the technical difficulty?
Well, I use this field recorder for my audio, and for some reason, Windows decided today, oh, I don't know where it is or who you are or what it is, and didn't recognize it. Right, so
I know why. You want me to tell you? Because they put a lot of money into data centers, so they spend $100 billion. Every other dollar they have, it's all going to data centers. So it probably is a reason why your machine just kind of crapped out.
Yeah. Well, come on, Satya.
Yeah.
How are you?
He's a Microsoft's mammoth AI bet means that your hardware won't work. Well, probably not that, but just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, Rebecca was asking. I bet that was actually Patrick asking, but
Well, Patrick and I have just I'm his
you know what I was going to say?
Virtual uncle.
You and Patrick are Patrico.
That's not that bad. It's one of your better ones. I'll say that.
Really?
Yeah. No, it's actually. I mean, it's stretching it, but
there was a lot of cheese in that one.
Let's say this: you go up, stretching it to 100 is good. Stretching it to 101 isn't good. And I'd say that was a 98 and a half.
Where does that sit? I guess in the scale of Mikhail's Navy.
Oh no, Mikhail's Navy said 101 is bad. Mikhail's Navy is 7,250.
Okay, all right. Well,
you're in a hole.
Sympatrico it is.
Yeah, we'll go with that as the memory. For the memory of you will be. Yeah, he said Sympatrico.
Yeah,
he said Mikhail's Navy.
I said hello to Sahil Liko. No, that's not good.
No.
Yeah, that's not bad.
Hey, all right, Sahil.
And look who is back.
Yeah, German. Yeah.
I didn't even knew that one. I don't know what it says other than Baron Munchausen. Anyway.
No, October just happened.
Gruber von Oktober. Oh, yeah, Oktoberfest.
In Munich. So it's something about he went to Oktoberfest in Munich, maybe?
I don't know. The stream isn't shown in the header of your profile. I don't know why. Don't blame me, man. Blame
actually LinkedIn. While we were talking, I sent it over to my LinkedIn account and Facebook PPN. Damn, see, it was Patrick. Yay.
I tell you guys are Sympatrico.
Okay. If you do it three times, though, you'll be 101.
Yeah, I better
I
stop.
mean, you can't like overdo it.
I'll quit while I'm behind.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're glad to be here. We're glad to be back. I was just explaining to the folks, kind of having a half and half show, like a half live, stimulating conversation like you're used to. I couldn't even say that with a straight face.
No,
but we know that they really do, enjoy Stump the Godfather. So rest assured, that 30-minute first Stump the Godfather is in there for sure.
I was thinking that would be one of the things we eliminate.
Nah, not at all. By the way, we were both right on that one.
Reading, yeah. He was. I thought that he's in Oktoberfest. So Bob Stutz, his birthday was a couple of weeks ago. Happy birthday, Bob! And he went to celebrate. I asked him what he was doing, and he and his family went to Oktoberfest.
I saw that picture on Facebook.
Yeah. So
there's some happy looking folks.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been to an Oktoberfest. I actually went with Silvana once.
Did you wear your?
No, God. No. But I will say it was fun. I went with her and her team.
All right, I'm about to say something because I'm so old. It doesn't matter. But when I was, I think I was only in elementary school. My sister went on one of those school. What do they call it? Where you go to Germany and you spend like a month with a German family. One of those kind of
exchange
deals.
Student.
Yeah, she was an exchange student to Germany, like the summer before her senior year.
Okay.
So she spent a full month in Germany. I don't know, she said she had a really good time because the family is really nice. So when she got back, she brought us all back stuff. Guess what she brought me back?
A pretzel.
No, I would have loved that. Are you kidding me? I would have loved the pretzel. No.
Beer mug.
Something that you wear.
Lederhosen? That's those. Oh, really?
Yeah.
She knew you wouldn't wear it, so why would she bring it back?
I mean, you just don't do that to a little black kid growing up in the suburbs.
That is literally a sister pranking her brother.
You got enough hardship as it is. Now you're gonna put me in some lederhosen?
No way.
That don't work.
No way.
Oh my God, that was brutal. I thought she loved me, but then
again, sister pranking her.
Yeah, brother. That's just not the move.
Wow.
Not the Memorex part is it yet, Rebecca. This is the live stimulating conference. Matter of fact, Rebecca, you actually do make an appearance in this first half of the show, by the way. Just to let Patrick know so he can be sure to see you on the big screen or whatever screen you're looking at. Anyway, so that's my Germany story. I got lederhosen. Well, I had lederhosen, but I don't think I ever wore lederhosen. Couldn't do it. Those things, there's like leather shorts, man.
It's horrible.
And you wear that stuff in like the summertime? Are you kidding me?
Well, usually the only time I've ever seen it really worn, other than in movies or something, was Oktoberfest, around there. So it's a little cooler. But
we don't celebrate Oktoberfest when I was a kid. So
well, what Americans have you ever seen wear lederhosen? I never have.
Yeah,
I will literally pull the national pride card on that.
Wait a minute. Since we do have an international audience, and Sven is out there, and Thomas may be out there.
No,
and,
I think he's here.
And Ralph may be out there. No, I mean they grew up in Germany, right? So hey, fellas, have you worn any lederhosen before? Let us know. We'd love to know. And if there are any pictures of this, we would definitely like to see the pictures.
Yeah. Are you kidding? In fact, no. Just send it to us privately so we can blackmail you publicly.
Then we can meet both. No. I'm not wearing it.
Ben, you can come. You can come to IRL 2025 in lederhosen if you want.
Oh, wow. Really? See,
once it's up to him.
Down south. I don't know if that might be against the law, man. Georgia.
Who knows?
I don't know. It might be against the law. We shall see. But anyway. The second half of the show, we did our live recording of the CRM Playaz at Oracle CloudWorld at the Venetian, and we just got the recordings in. Now we have to stipulate Sound quality is not the greatest. Um, Actually, it's really good for the venerable Paul Greenberg. They gave him the good mic, apparently. Everybody else is kind of, a little faint, but it looks good and the conversations are great. So we are gonna play. We had kind of two segments. The first segment was with the dynamic duo of design. Hey, I like that.
Whoa.
Dynamic duo of design.
Triple D.
Hello, Hillel Cooperman and Jenny Lamb. They're both SVPs of design, user design, or is it
Yeah,
UX? I think it's UX.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they're both SVPs. They are the driving force behind the Redwood design that has really gone through and through Oracle, and really one of the first, or maybe the first, enterprise application uh, kind of design that has really rippled through all the applications, pretty much everything.
Yeah, and has actually been been a significant driver of the transformation of Oracle's actual culture.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so we spent the first segment of the show during Cloud World with them. And then it's like there's another dynamic duo. So since Jenny and Hillel are the dynamic duo of design,
Triple D.
then so Rob Pinkerton and Katrina Gosick are the dynamic duo of DX? No, CX. It's got to be CX. So they are the dynamic duo, Oracle's dynamic duo of CX, Rob Pinkerton and Katrina Gosick. So, you know what? They're both both of the duos are dynamic when you think.
Yeah, they're amazing people all the way around.
Yeah. So we're gonna play that in its entirety. I always wanted to say that. I don't know why. So we're gonna play that after we do our first half of the show.
Yeah, and keep in mind these were recorded there, but not broadcast.
No, they were recorded live, but we didn't broadcast. This is the first viewing of what we did out there in Vegas. I thought everything was supposed to actually stay in Vegas.
In Vegas. This one left Vegas quick.
Yeah, and so did we after we.
Yeah.
All right, so that's coming up later on. But we have some stuff beforehand, and actually, I think I kind of teased one of the things. Because there's been a lot of shows. Well, there's been a couple of shows. I did back to back a few good minutes yesterday and today, and both are good shows. I got a clip from the one from yesterday. Today, I just finished up a really good conversation with Jamie Merritt, who is the Chief Product Officer over at Verint. And we talked about a lot of stuff and maybe even cleared a few things up. Because as you recall, wait a minute, you weren't there, so you wouldn't be able to recall. I forget.
I'm retired, man.
That's right, because you officially retired your analyst role after Dreamforce.
Well, no, it's actually will be technically
after
Zoomtopia
right. Next week.
Because when we go to user testing, that's my PPN CRM Playaz role.
Right. That's right. So actually, after next week.
Yep, I'm done.
It's over.
Zoomtopia, my first one and my last one, all at once.
Wow, that's a nice synergy. Nice symmetry.
It'll be interesting. I'll say that.
All right, so that'll be next week, and yeah, we'll have some kind of report because I don't know if we're going to be able to do a live. I don't know what the deal is yet with that, but if we're able to, maybe we'll do that because
we're working on it.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. We're working on it. All right.
And one last thing about Zoomtopia, our buddy Dave Smith, who you also know as a host of The Crunch, along with Rebecca, and currently along with Rebecca, Jeremy Cox, and a new one coming up after the election, which will be Josh Greenbaum.
Oh, I thought you were going to say like whoever didn't win the election is going to be.
That's right. The winner of the election will be on as a host. But Dave is going to be at Zoomtopia, so hopefully we can hook up with him to do something great.
All righty. So earlier this week, I mean, we had a pretty full week because In the Hot Seat crew did a show. I did a few good minutes yesterday, and today we're doing CRM Players right now. And on Tuesday, Rebecca Wedderman did the crunch, and her guest was Sarah Franklin, who many of you might know more from her dailies at Salesforce. And I think before she left, she had worked her way all the way up to CMO.
That's right.
But then she left Salesforce, and she is now currently the CEO of Lattice. That's not the one that you used to work with.
No, that was Lattice Engine.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So she had her on, and now I know Lattice, they work in the HR side of the space, HR tech. So they had a really great conversation, but I want to play this little clip of Rebecca and Patrick. How can I not mention Patrick? I mean, it's our co-host there. So Rebecca and Patrick asked Sarah about what's going on with a lot of these companies. I think this is probably spurred by Amazon wanting their employees to come back and work 5 days a week in the office. And so Rebecca asked about that. And this is what Sarah had to say, which I thought was really interesting. So let me play this clip.
You is that as a CEO, I'm going to spend time looking at dashboards and information of how my team and company are doing instead of badge-ins to the office. I want to see that people are performing well, that we're out at our customers, that we're in person with our customers. I want to see that our teams are innovating. I want to see that we're, managing our operations efficiently. I trust, my employees as adults, and we have a hybrid work, culture at Lattice for, working in the best way that works for them. And we have, processes around that.
Nice to hear.
I couldn't agree more with her.
Well, the idea of I trust my employees as adults was nice to hear. I just kills me. So this return to the office must have between Amazon and Salesforce and some of the other companies that are pushing it.
I mean, things got done in a pretty significant way in shape and scale during the pandemic, and those folks weren't in the office while they were able to do all that.
Well, and to that point too, think of it this way. I mean, there was during the pandemic, if you remember, was the big discussion of digital transformation was kind of at its peak.
Yeah.
The interesting thing, not so much that discussion, which was way overhyped, but there was an enormous amount of innovation that actually got not just talked about, but accomplished while people were working at home. And it was innovation, meaning we're dealing with new ways of doing things. We're dealing with new technologies that we have to prove work. And they did it at home. They did it while being at home. And, and think of this, the Herculean efforts that companies like ServiceNow and Salesforce and Zoho and all these other companies did to help government and to help individuals during COVID. And everyone was still doing it at home. It wasn't like you had to be in an office. You don't anymore. I mean, there's always some staff that need to be in office more often than not. It's just the way it is. But the bulk of people, to Sarah's point, should be trusted as adults to get the job done the way that they want to do it, but to get the job done. Their responsibility is the outcome, not the way they get to it.
Yeah. By the way, Ben says, it feels like it's getting more polarized with return to office versus remote first flags being planted further and further apart. You know what? I think he's right. Unfortunately, I do think he's right. It feels like that, at least. But I mean, it's kind of hard. It's kind of hard to use one rationale during the pandemic and then a completely different rationale afterwards. It just doesn't feel like you can really. It's not flying with people.
Well, it would work. It would work if it didn't work the other way during COVID and even post-COVID, because it still took, I don't know, let's call it when the COVID died down. Maybe it wasn't officially declared over, but when it died down to the point where people were going out and doing things again, it was a year plus before people started saying, come back to the office. And things were still working just fine without being back in the office. So if the rationale was, hey, during COVID it worked, but afterwards, things have changed. The context is different. It's true, the context is different, but the context had already changed by the time people were starting to say return to the office, and it was working perfectly well.
So if you had to guess, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be some kind of a compromise, I guess, because I can't see one side of the pendulum winning out at this point. Maybe there's going to be some meeting in the middle.
Well, that what, to everyone's point, he's working on the consumption model and the payment.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second, by the way.
Yeah, so there, there's that, and look, there's the other thing which makes it even more funny, ironic, is the evolution of AI itself and how that's supposed to assist you. Meaning, you don't really have to be in the office to use AI, right? So,
are the agents have to? Are the AI agents going to have to go report?
That's right. That's right. Return to office. AI onboard them and return them. Right. So, I found that funny. In fact, I was doing some thinking over the weekend about the new not over the weekend, over the last couple of days, about the new Microsoft Copilot, which I've been using. Actually, I've downloaded it to everything and I've been using it. It's actually, first, it's insanely fast. And secondly, it's much more, I don't know, I'll call it accurate, meaning the answers don't drive you as crazy, although they still can. And the voice is, Copilot voice is actually it's interesting. It's primitive, but the voice sounds real. It's not, let's say, quite as realistic sounding as, say, Google Notebook.
Yeah, the notebook thing it does sound really good, actually.
But the voice itself is still pretty good. And you do find yourself inclined to have a conversation with it to some degree. And then it's very responsive. And all in all, yeah, exactly. I mean, all in all,
man, really into this
we're actually, I realize we're moving from, because, when you look at bots, for example, they're microservices basically being implemented. That's what they are. They're not agents. They're microservices.
Oh, they're definitely not agents.
Right. They're microservices. But we're seeing that evolve now, because right now we're, if you look at almost everything we've seen, including things we can't talk about, it's basically giving you a personal or business assistant of some kind, right? Who will aid you understand the context that you're looking at things in, look at your history, look at the whole, and to the credit of Microsoft, what they've just done goes a long way to that. But that goes from, bots executing on a microservice to at least semi-autonomous, meaning it's learning as it goes, but not thinking independently yet. Learning as it goes, semi-autonomous assistance that the individual is getting. It's kind of like what we always wanted VRM to be, being done through co-pilots, and things like that. Unlike a bot, which the bot world is interesting because it's personalized to the process. It's not personalized to the process; it's specific to the process. Where the agent we're starting to see is much more personalized to the individual, and it's really it's the how, remember we used to talk about the consumerization of the enterprise. This is the next level of that, right? With the AI side.
Okay. Yeah, I totally agree. And let's see. Before we got a few more minutes. We're doing Stump the Godfather. I don't care how long.
Anyway, filibusters illegal, aren't they?
No, we don't do that. This ain't the politics here. All right. So yesterday was really another great conversation. It was more than a few great minutes, actually, when I brought kind of the VC folks that we know the best, I think, which would be Scott Beechuk he's a partner at Norwest Venture Partners, and Alex Bard, who is managing director for Red Point Ventures, and the Golden Smog of CRM, the Midas of Martech, the voice of PPN, Anand Thakur, also, who is also a investor from venture to private equity, advises and all that stuff.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Brought them all together to just talk about what's going on with them and their space when it comes to what's going on with the economy, what's going on with AI, and how is that impacting what they do and what they look for as folks looking to invest in enterprise app tech kind of startups. Very cool conversation. I really suggest you check out the whole show because it was just nonstop good stuff. But I want to play one clip because I did ask all three of them about, well, what are you looking at now? How do you judge companies that that you want to invest in now? And Alex gave this really cool answer. So I'm going to play this and then we'll talk about it in a bit, and then we'll do Stump the Godfather.
New companies, we want to know like what their vision for the future is, like how they're thinking about completely redefining the workflow. Because I think if you think in this current day and age incrementally, like software has historically been, I think you're going to miss the real opportunity. On the business model perspective, people don't talk about this enough. And this is one of the things that I learned by being fortunately, close to Benioff during the period of time that I was at Salesforce. He talked about part of the massive disruption for Salesforce when they launched in 99 wasn't that the product was in the browser and like, why can't, you use software like you use Amazon, which everybody's heard him say. It was the business model. The incumbents could have easily replicated a lighter weight version of their software in a browser. That wasn't it. It was the business model that they couldn't copy because of innovator's dilemma. And so business model creates disruption. You had SaaS as a business model disruption. More recently, you've had freemium as a business model disruption. And now I think you're going to see a massive disruption because it's not going to be, in my opinion, consumption-based. It's going to be work-based. Consumption is historically like you're consuming a resource, right? That's how people paid for infrastructure. I think this is going to be you're paying for outcomes, like work to be done. If you think about budgets inside of a company, the software budget is an order of magnitude less than the labor budget. And this new sort of paradigm shift where it does the work will expand the historic software budget meaningfully because it will eat into the labor budget, which will enable you to reduce. Now that comes with all sorts of other complications that we could talk about on humans, but like that's kind of what I think is very exciting. And any company that we see now being born today is looking at this sort of work-based pricing, as is Salesforce and everyone else, because that's what I think the market is ultimately going to demand.
So what do you have to say about what he just said? I thought it was really fascinating, and it kind of speaks a little bit to what Sven is saying, but not the way that Sven was kind of pointing to.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think he's onto something, but it has a lot of historic precedent if you think about it. I mean, when you sign a contract to complete a project, your job is to complete the project and you're being paid for the outcome. You're not being paid for the amount of time you're working 90% of the time, unless you're doing time and materials. But if it's project-based, you finish this, and at this stage, you get this done, and you get this outcome, you get paid for this. You get this outcome, you get paid for this. So there's a lot of precedent for it. And so it's not an uncomfortable idea at all, really. I think people can adapt to it. I think that so he was distinguishing clearly between consumption-based models and work outcome-based
outcomes
models.
And work. Yeah,
Right.
that's the designation I was picking up.
Yeah, and I think when you hear like Sven or Bob talking about that, for example, consumption-based models, usage, there's an implication though about the outcome in it. Right. In other words, yes, it's usage, but there has to be a result to that. Other than that, you can just keep using and paying for it and get nowhere with it. Or be paid for it and get nowhere with it. So as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I like the idea. I don't know. Again, I don't have the knowledge to know that. I just don't know how many companies really are thinking about it that way. It was interesting. He said Salesforce was. I had no idea that was the model that they were looking at in any way, because they're pretty much, you pay for their product and usage of the product. So I'm fascinated to see where it goes.
Yeah,
I like the idea. I don't think it's a heavy lift for people to adopt it or adapt to it. So I'm also really fascinated by the fact he said that a lot of his overall that community, the venture, EP community is looking at this. So I mean, to me, I didn't realize that. So I'm gonna be curious to dig in, despite the fact I'm retired.
This is, I think, where these kind of folks, like the Alexes and the Scotts and the Anands, they're usually ahead of the curve, right? I mean, they're looking way past where things are right now, because they're looking to put their money into companies that are not for the now, they're for the future, for the most part. So that does make you think. And I know Bob and Sven has commented a couple of times about consumption based. Maybe it's just words or the way these terms are coming. I like the term outcome based or work based better than I like consumption. And maybe that's just, like I said, the semantics or whatever, but that feels like a better way to go. I would rather pay for an outcome than just to use something.
Well, I mean, ultimately, you're paying for whatever it is, however you're paying for whatever it is you're using. You're paying for it so you can use it to get a result.
Let's put it like this. If you really think your team is great and has a great opportunity to go to the Super Bowl, I will pay way more money than if I think they're going to be a dog.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, also is if you've been a consultant back in the world of projects,
yeah,
you look at the different contracts. One's time and materials, where you're paying effectively being paid for your use, and the other one is project, right? Meaning you're being paid for the result, right? And there are milestones along the way that get you certain payments, but those milestones are results in each case, right? Once this happens, you get paid. When this happens, you get paid again. When this happens, you get paid again. And when the project's over and you've completed it and you've done well, you get paid again. And if the project didn't complete well, you didn't get paid, right? You had to, have to, but that's what I'm saying.
There are a lot of projects where they were terrible and there was big payments made because
ultimately that's the problem with it, which is, so it's always a matter of subjective judgment as to what just got accomplished. So, and time and materials was always the preferred way because you got paid no matter what happened.
Yeah, but I think from like a platform or a software perspective, it's always been you pay for the platform, whether it was, you're paying on-prem and you're paying a big lump sum payment up front, or you're doing the subscription monthly payments. This feels like there's a potential, I don't know if this will happen, but think about what Alex said about the disruption or the disruptions are from the business model disruptions, or that's where the real transformations seem to happen, not with the technology, it's with the business models, because that's how the money is made from the technology. If there's companies that we don't even know about now, and given all that's going on with AI and how that's transforming things and evolving things, if there could be a company that we don't even know about. I mean, we didn't know about OpenAI 2 years ago, and look what they've done. So it seems like the environment is getting more and more ripe, for lack of a better way, for some kind of disruptive company that we don't know. Maybe 3 or 5 years down the line, maybe they are doing something that's challenging the hegemony of the big guys. Who knows?
Well, to that point too, though, if you look at the model that he's proposing, there's also the smaller side. Like if you're paying, let's say you're getting paid, your Salesforce, and you're getting paid 2 cents per interaction or transaction. You're actually getting paid for an outcome, right? That's what you are. Each of that transaction or interaction.
Well, you're okay. You're getting paid an outcome, but that outcome might not be the desired outcome of the person that has to pay you.
Right. Well, ultimately, one person's paying you for all like if you're a telco or something like that. But to your point, yeah. But so there's the big version and then there's a small little version. I would love to hear more from Alex on what he's thinking about that specific model, because it's why to me it's really intriguing. It's got historic precedent in some ways, and at the same time, it's not fully defined going forward yet either.
Well, you know who kind of agreed with it, because as soon as I heard this from Alex yesterday, I created a clip and I played it for Jamie Merritt, because at Verint's event last week, Dan Bodner, their CEO and founder, he was talking about outcomes based kind of models, which fit perfectly with the out. Now there's a definition that needs to be hardened there, because it's not you're not just talking about an outcome. You're really talking about the right outcomes, and of course that's in the eye of the beholder. But if those conversations are already starting, maybe 3 or 5 years down the road, we are seeing some shifts going on here.
Well, I mean, I will say in general, we've been talking about outcomes-based sales and everything else for what, 10 years, right? So it's not new.
No, but it's never, it's never gone beyond the talking, right? I mean,
well, I mean, there are companies that I'll give them credit. They actually train their salespeople that way. And so they're driving toward outcomes, but it's the business model for investment that really intrigues me, as like looking at companies that are willing to do that. Maybe before, because I know we have to move on to Stump the Godfather and the thing. Why don't you put up? There's a bunch of comments from a bunch of people.
Yeah, I've been putting them up
silent and put them all up.
Well, I have. We've been talking, but I've been putting them up because there are some really good comments. We probably can't address them all at the moment, but I mean, it's hard to argue with some of this stuff. The current consumption based models. Yeah, but see, I think when you start introducing outcomes or work based, maybe I don't know, because he did talk about jobs to do. He kind of mixed work and outcomes, and there's a relationship there. But I mean,
yeah, I think Alex should spend some time. Maybe we'll bring him on just to talk again about it, specifically, because that's it's got a lot of meat potentially. It's just I think it's, to your point, there's a bunch of definitions that have to be hardened.
So anyway, check out the whole. I mean, because it wasn't just Alex; it was Scott and Anand. It was some comments coming in from like I think Alan and some other folks, Alan Berkson. Check out that conversation, and we'll work on. There's a master plan. We have an idea we would love to have come to fruition around that conversation.
Before we get to Stump the Godfather, I just want to wish all my Jewish brethren and everyone else a happy New Year. It's our New Year.
Oh, nice.
So Shana Tova. That's the bad Hebrew version of it. But happy New Year to all my landsmen and brethren, and to everyone else for that matter.
And I will say happy STG.
SPG.
And now it's time for Stump the Godfather with the venerable Paul Greenberg, brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot.
Good old Benny. Stump the Godfather, brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365.
We probably should change what we're saying it down below. It's not really.
Yeah, it's more like just Copilot.
Copilot Pro and Copilot Plus. Yeah. Thinking about buying a Copilot Plus PC instead of a MacBook Pro M4.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm considering it. I'm really into Copilot.
Well, as you consider this, this week's question, which is, according to a global computer hardware provider.
Oh, no, you didn't.
No, I didn't. I saw it. Ooh. According to a global computer hardware provider, the AI hardware and services market may grow from 79 billion in 2023 to blankety blank 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 billion by 2027.
Is a Gartner-like number or actual number?
It's I will say this: it's a round number.
Okay, that's what I was.
I think it's around. Yeah,
I didn't want to have to guess like $322,973,472.83 by 2027. And that's on March 22nd, 2077.
So 79 billion last year to blankety blank blank in
All
20.
right, I got a number in my head.
All right, so everybody out there who wants to take a shot at this one, put your comments in, put your answers, your guesses in the comments section. What has Ben saying before we do? We're transitioning to outcome-based pricing on. That's what you get best. Whoever wins, you get something. I don't know what exactly. So take your best guess.
Best wrong answer.
Yeah. So if it was 79 billion last year, what is it going to be in 2027? It's only like 4 years away. It's not.
I got a number.
Yeah. All right. So get your Sahil, Ben, Sven, Patrick, Rebecca. Get your guesses in so we can. All right. So Rebecca is saying 800 billion, and is that 8 wolves from Patrick? Or let us know if Patrick wants to get in there. So we got 800 billion. Ben, Sahil is coming in with 220 billion. Okay. Let's see. Ben is like 1 trillion. Whoa. Okay. So we got everything from 220 billion to 1 trillion
in 4 years. Huh?
In 4 years. And Sven is saying a trillion. Yes. All right. So we got 2 at 1 trillion. Oh wait, what do we got? Patrick here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. What is?
Whoa!
Is that half? So it's like 850 billion. Is that what that is? Because
so he's coming in at 850.
850 billion. No, that's what it is, right? All right. So we got it's almost unlimited because everything will have AI according to market. Yeah. Well, this is coming from a global computer hardware provider. So keep that in mind. All right. So that's pretty significant. We're saying it's going to like more than quadruple, wait a minute. No, we're saying from 79 billion to like 1 trillion.
About 15 times.
Yeah, that's like a 15x in 4 years. Yeah. That might be stretching it. So
I'm thinking that's stretching it. My number is actually 375 billion.
375 billion. So we've got everything from 220 billion to 1 trillion with a lot in between. So without further ado and without any drum roll, the answer to this week's Stump the Godfather is wait a minute. I'm supposed to have one. That's what I was looking for. 174 billion. In that global computer hardware provider that predicts this is Dell.
Yeah, I'm considering their laptop too. The Pilot. So I'll add to that total because it'll be the Microsoft Copilot Plus ready laptop, PC ready laptop.
But you know what? I'm guessing based on the guesses here, the hype has gotten way out ahead of everything. I mean, this is because I was thinking, I mean, in 4 years' time, we're thinking 15x, 10x. That's really
I thought that was way too much. I mean, I was deliberately over guessing, but I thought, okay, well, usually I'm too conservative, so I'll over guess.
And I think part of what's holding this back still is the ROI question. A lot of companies are still very nervous or very wary of spending in this stuff because they don't know what the return is yet.
And keep in mind the other side of this, which is companies like Oracle are giving it away, right? So it's not costing anything to Oracle's 300,000 customers, right?
Right.
So, that's what I'm saying. The models are still all over the map. And until those models get better defined, those numbers are not going to skyrocket at that level. Because there's another company, I can't remember who it is, who's also giving it away, who's also really big. I just read this somewhere.
Well, but then again, I will say this. I have one question because how does this factor into this? If Microsoft is doing 100 billion on their own,
but that's in data center leases. I wonder if
data center, yeah, I guess so. Is like, how do
I'm
you
not
factor
sure
in
who that-
leases and stuff?
I
Yeah.
don't know. And see, again, like all of these things, depends on the questions asked.
Okay, so anyway, I thought that was good. We got some good participation. You guys are really feeling pretty good about the AI spend, apparently, because yeah, going from 79 billion to a trillion in 4 years, that would be tremendous. If that
would be insane.
Wait a minute, and Sahil is saying hardware doesn't get replaced this quickly. Well, that is true too. Plus, I still think people do not trust. They don't really understand how they actually get a return on investment yet, which gotta hold up people from going all in on spending on this stuff.
Oh yeah, and
yeah.
we're only talking here basically 3 years, not even really full 3 years. So we're talking 2.5 to 3 years.
So Sven is putting up something from e-commerce
India Times.
Yeah,
that may be 990 billion rupees. It's Indian Times. Well, it might be.
Talk to Dell.
Alexa, how many dollars, US dollars, is 990 billion Indian rupees?
From myfin.us. 94,000 Indian rupees is 100.
What? I didn't ask you that at all. Alexa, stop. Alexa,
please stop, Alexa.
How many US dollars is 990 billion Indian rupees? Okay, Alexa, you failed.
Yeah, you might want to go back to sleep.
You know, you actually start recognizing the weaknesses of Alexa when you start using Copilot.
So Ben says, I just expect the reports about spending on AI to get out of whack. I think they already are to a certain extent. This may not have anything to do with reality. I'm going to go with Dell on this one over, because they're in the business. They gotta try to be as close to the projections as possible, because that's how they make their money. They could all be wrong though, but to me, if AI or spending on hardware around this stuff goes almost a 3-bagger, 2.5-bagger, that's not bad for 4 years.
So 990 billion Indian rupees is 11.8 billion US dollars.
All right. Well, none of those numbers work.
No.
Anyway, this Stump the Godfather brought to you by Microsoft Dynamics 365 Copilot.
Or Microsoft Copilot Plus.
Or, yeah, put your name in there.
Pro.
So was there a winner, actually?
Well, Sahil was the closest.
Then he wins.
So he wins. He was 220, he said. So he was.
And Sahil is calling out Sven for cheating. Oof. All righty. Well, we'll let you guys duke that one out.
Duke it out. Duke it out. Meet halfway.
Yeah. Well, no guns, though. We don't need that. All right. So we did record a special CRM Playaz episode at CloudWorld a few weeks ago. So we're premiering it here just for you folks. So do you want to do anything or just let her rip?
No, let's just let her rip. I mean, we're down to 10 minutes, so
it'll take a little longer than that, but
yeah.
And we're not even going to be on screen for this, because you're going to see enough of us anyway. And once again, apologies for some of the sound issues. They were beyond our control. So
yeah, it wasn't us doing the recording.
So with all that said, here is us again. I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM Playaz, and guess what? We're back in Vegas.
Why does that sound so terrible every time you say it?
I thought it sounded pretty good, but
Well, it's not your style is good, but you know what I'm saying?
Our style is good.
Yes.
Well, since we're talking about style already,
okay.
Why don't you introduce the people that are sitting in between us right now?
Oh man.
But first of all, we are.
I know, but I know where the camera is, but I have to look at these beautiful faces.
You look at them. We're at Oracle CloudWorld. We're at the Venetian. And now, introducing our guest is the Venerable Paul Greenberg.
Hillel Cooperman, Jenny Lamb. Let me explain who these folks are. They are without any question, and this comes from me actually years of experience in looking for this, the best designers I've ever met, ever seen. They are the creators of Redwood here at Oracle. Redwood's changed their UI and UX of all product, but more so than anything else, it's changed the culture of the company, which is a massive achievement because you're talking about a massive company. And these two are the literal geniuses behind it. And you are. I mean, I know you don't think yourself that way because you're humble, but you are. And also, by the way, they're wonderful people despite their NFL team. But they're absolutely the best, nicest people you're ever going to want to meet. So let's meet them. Guys, welcome.
Thanks.
Thanks for having us.
And yeah, now that you're done blushing. No, it's good to see you guys. It's been a couple of years because we didn't get a chance to see you guys last year, but we are glad to see you this year, and I'm especially glad to see her because she's not a Patriots fan anymore, so I'm kind of happy about that. But anyway.
But just to be clear, I just want to add that, we appreciate the kind words, but there's a lot of people we work with at Oracle who are responsible for all this. This is a thing that we're just a small little piece of, and we're excited to be a part of, and that really, when we got to Oracle, we found people at Oracle who were really excited about making something great, and that was the key to making all this possible, is all the people we work with.
And I will tell you, that is the answer we always get from people like you, because you are humble people, and it is true. However, let's say there are pieces and then there are pieces, and you are the bigger of those pieces, right? You are the most important group there, and we have, as a result, you're the ones being put on the spot for all these interesting questions we're about to ask you.
We're honored to be able to represent all that talent.
All right. We will concede the point.
All right.
We'll concede the
We
point.
brought you something to change the subject.
Yes.
We brought
Didn't you give us a shirt the last time?
Yes, but we have friendship bracelets.
Oh, cool.
Redwood friendship bracelet.
Thank you.
There you go.
Friendship.
I'm gonna wear it
We're
right now.
friends.
Yes, of course we are.
I feel all choked up. Anyway, we'll move on.
They're
But
pretty.
They're beautiful.
They
that's
are
right.
really, actually, and they actually match what you're wearing.
No, they're flexible as hell, too.
Right. So I was at the NetSuite keynote, and guess who was like the first person on the stage with Evan? It was this man right here. And it was really cool to see how Redwood has come to NetSuite. Can you talk a little bit about the evolution of Redwood and seeing it spread and grow like it has?
I mean, I'm really grateful that it has become part of our culture, I think. And actually, to be honest, it's Jenny who's really our NetSuite, the primary person on the core Redwood team who really works with the NetSuite team, and probably could share some insight about how that partnership and evolution has gone. I know it's one of our favorite teams to work with, but I don't know if you want to.
Yeah, the NetSuite team is a dream partner team. It was like they know good design, they have really great taste, they have a super high bar. And when we first presented, just internally to all the execs around Oracle, the idea of Redwood in 2018.
Wow.
Evan was one of the first guys that we went to, and he was so gung-ho that he even sent an email to the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And it was really encouraging because we had no idea what we were doing, and we were kind of going out on a limb. No one asked for Redwood, and it was NetSuite has been just an incredible partner, and they are kicking butt with their product.
Yeah.
It looks so good, it's so polished, it's beautiful.
And I would add that they also, like, Redwood is a living, breathing thing. It is a work in progress all the time. And working with a team like the NetSuite team, like, they tell us when the ingredients in the pantry are working and when we're missing some stuff, or we need to evolve some stuff. And so we're always working to make it better and improve it and make sure it is aligned with exactly what customers are doing and what the use cases are. And they have such, like Jenny said, excellent taste and excellent attention to detail, and really have a deep, deep, beautiful connection with their customer base, that really helps make Redwood better. So we really appreciate how they push us.
I mean, one of the things that's really interesting to me is obviously we've been seeing nonstop conversation about AI, and I always have some concerns there when it comes to design, because to me, design's a fundamentally human endeavor, right? And because it involves creativity, which AI is, to me, still is not. It doesn't mean it can't be innovative, but it's not creative, and that's two different things. So I'm wondering how you guys, because you are the masters, think of the use of AI. Do you use it? Are you planning to use it? How do you use it? I mean, what's the story there?
I mean, there's two ways I could answer that question. I think you're asking the question of, do we use AI in doing the design that we do? Or are you asking, how do we incorporate AI into the capabilities that we design?
It could be either one.
Well, I'll do a short version. I'll do both. In the former question, we don't use AI to do our design.
Good.
And this is not me poo-pooing AI. Like, we think AI has unbelievable, incredible uses, especially in our software. I think for design right now, what it's able to do is, I'd say a little more one-size-fits-all and generic relative to the kind of approach that we take in understanding really the nuances of what our users are trying to accomplish and making the UI feel bespoke but scalable for their needs. Now, that said, we are busy incorporating AI into so many of our flows. And there's a few really interesting things about our approach, or the one that we're fans of. Number one is we're already in companies in their flow of their business. We're already right there on the front line. We're not adding something on, trying to get into a scenario that we're not a part of. We're already there because people are using our software to accomplish their goals at work. And so when there is a moment where the AI can maybe write a draft of something, a draft of an email, a draft of a review, a draft of a goal, when the AI can do predictive analytics, when the AI can answer a question visually with a chart where you're saying, hey, I'd like to see sales for the next 3 quarters, but I want to see them cut up this way and sliced up that way. And it can, on the fly, because based on what you said in natural language, go and generate that response. That is deeply exciting.
Yep.
And I think the unique approach we're taking, I think what we're seeing in the industry is a lot of people are thinking of AI as something that's bolted onto the side of the user interface. And that's just not our approach. And I'm not here to judge anyone else's approach, but our aspiration is to not bolt it on, but build it in.
Right.
And so it is literally right in the flow of what you do, and always where you're in control as the user. It's never doing things for you without your permission. It's always there with a helpful suggestion where it can be helpful, and then gives you the option, do you want to use that suggestion? Do you want to edit that suggestion? Or do you want to move on and do your own thing?
So basically, you do the design and it helps you execute.
I would say it helps our users execute.
Right,
their
okay,
goals.
more like that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing that I love about it the most is its ability to speak in the language that we speak. For the longest time, I think users have had to adapt their terminology, their nomenclature, their understanding of taxonomies to be like, well, this is the way the tech company that made this software thought about it, and I got to learn their system. And now you can just ask for what you need in your language, using whatever words you want. And these large language models, this generative AI that we're all on top of, it's incredibly good at understanding that and then spinning it back out in language that humans understand.
All right, I think we're down to like the last
Yep.
minute here.
Better ask Jenny
You don't
another
have to
question.
jump like that. You guys have worked together for how long now?
25 years.
25 years.
Yeah, since they were 6 apiece.
Yeah,
Since the
6 years old.
since the Gen AI stuff came out, has anything, the way you work, has that been affected by what's gone on the last couple of years?
Well, I'll say that because we're this centralized philosophy and approach to design across the entire company, we're spread thin, and so there are partnerships that we take on, and I've actually watched Joel in the last year work his butt off with the healthcare UX scenarios. Like, he's in there every morning at 6 a.m. designing right along with them, and so we're not designing together as much anymore, which is sad for me, but I get to see from far away all this beautiful work that he's doing in a really, really important area that is much needed, and some help with the experience.
Yeah, we could use, will you guys come on CRM Playaz again?
Of course.
All right, we just really need more time. We
can we say
really
no?
do.
Yeah.
We
I'll let
really
you
do.
back on, huh?
Right.
Now that the Patriots aren't that great,
They're terrible.
I feel good about having
Oh,
you back.
be terrible probably for the rest of my life. You can enjoy all that. Enjoy my suffering.
Anyway, thank you guys
Thank
for joining
you.
us.
Thank
It's always
you
a
for
pleasure.
having
And
us. All right,
thanks for the
guys.
friendship bracelet.
No, you don't. Never not going to be a hug. All right.
I'll give you a nice.
The two hearts of CX.
I love this. You guys,
Imagine,
Oracle has good dynamic duos.
Yes, they do.
You know, when these folks, I'll let you do your intro and then I'll talk about them.
All right. Well, so now we
Well, I got
have.
to do official.
Oh,
I
okay.
now turn things over to the venerable Paul Greenberg to introduce today's guest.
Okay, we have the two hearts of Oracle CX.
Two hearts.
Yeah. Katrina Gosick and Rob Pinkerton. And the thing about these two is, one is that they really, I mean, I'm not going to use the word I would normally use, but they really know their stuff.
Oh, I was going to say,
Right.
this is a family show.
Right. They really know their stuff. And when I say really know it, I mean they know it to the level you need to know CX in order to make CX a viable option for humans to use. Okay? And that's one. Two is they are wonderful people. I mean, there's a lot, look, there's some amazing people at Oracle in the CX universe in general, and these are two of the best. And this guy happens to be my lunch date, right? He and I have lunch every couple of months?
Yes.
Yeah, about every 2 months because he lives in my
You go to
area.
the hometown place,
Which one?
that place
Glory
you take
Days?
me to, Glory Days.
Oh yeah,
you
we've
go
been
to
there,
Trummer's?
We're going to Trummers next time though.
He really likes you. You're going to Trummer.
Yeah, we're going to Trummers. And Katrina, if you ever make it out our way, you know.
love to join you for
You've been to Reston, so
Yeah.
all you have to do is let me know you're coming, and then the three of us will go out.
Sounds great.
And it'll be on me, and it'll be at Trummers.
All right. So now,
Again, yes. So let's get to work here.
not only are they like really, fantastic CX people and all that, they're actually funny.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like,
Oh, no, pressure.
well, you actually make the CX stuff fun because I remember, what was it like 2 years ago, Media Day, where you guys did your CX presentation and you did it in the context of Fonzie and Happy Days and all sorts of stuff. And, that just hit me right in the heart, so to speak. Especially that Fonzie jumping the shark part. That really, I was still
Yeah.
kind of traumatized by that.
That was a rough one.
That was
But
a good presentation.
I love how you guys make CX fun as well as intelligible and like Paul said. So talk about, because I don't think we've had
Pressure here.
I know, I'm like, we're building up to something. I don't know.
We've got to
Good
ask
luck.
you folks because it's, I don't think we've had a chance to talk to you since all the Gen AI hoopla. But how has that impacted the way that you guys approach CX?
And be funny.
And the fun.
Well, there it is.
I'm gonna try. So, I mean, you've heard Hillel and Jenny just talk about how this is comprehensive in everything we do, but we're also, which is true, but we're also thinking about just how it's going to affect things and make things different for customers.
Yeah.
And how dramatic a change that'll be for our customers to respond to. So I'll give you an example of my favorite Gen AI shopping feature.
Okay.
And that is that I can argue with Gen AI.
How did I know that would be like that?
But so just give you an example, this summer I had to buy a new barbecue, like the barbecue broke. And a barbecue is it's an expensive online purchase, basically, right? So everybody wants to bid on
Are
it.
you getting one of
Google
those
words.
big, like Hoss kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, it's just a Weber grill, right?
Okay.
I mean, they're like a couple
Some
$100
of them have like
maybe
turbo
1,000.
on them and, that kind of
They had some.
The grill you can
Well, so
drive.
if you go to a traditional customer experience and search for it, you get a lot of ads and a lot of curated content, none of which gave me what I wanted, right? And if you go on the web pages, you're loaded with videos and images, and you're thrown into all these funnels for not what I want, right? I know what I want. You go to ChatGPT or Grok or Perplexity or any of these options, I say, here's what I think I want. I want a smart grill, I want free delivery, I want this thing, and it comes back with answers, and then I say, oh, that's wrong. I don't want that. And I can argue with it. And in this case, think about this when you look for something and an ad pops up or an email solicitation comes through. You can't
Like if it's wrong, you're just kind of at its mercy, right? Whereas you
Just
have this,
yell, but nobody's
yeah,
listening.
you're just like, "Ugh," or you just give in or you go through. But now you're in this dynamic where there's agency with whatever you're talking through, and it literally went through conversation of like, no, I want this. Well, can you go find this? I ended up buying it at the local hardware store. It actually took me there offline. They said this was the best place to go, and it's just a totally different customer experience. When you ask what we're thinking about, is we're trying to like figure out where things will be, so that we can help our customers get there more quickly than everyone else, because we are nearly saturated right now when it comes to sort of what digital is. I mean, no one's looking for more emails, ads, web pages, social media.
Nobody I know.
There's a lot out there, so we've got to figure out where this is going to be, and I think it's exciting, right?
Yeah, very much so. Yeah.
So, I mean, you guys have had, one of the things I've noticed, look, I've always had this thing, and I even used to talk to you guys about this a long time ago, but stopped, about there's no such thing as a CX platform, but you actually have convinced me kind of there is, right? Which is, believe me, I'm a New Yorker, it's very hard to convince me of anything, right? So, but I've seen with what you've had with Unity, which I still think you underestimate, what you have with Unity and what you have done with your, the classic, let's call them CRM capabilities, but you've even enhanced them well beyond what they were. With Fusion Marketing and Sales, you've done an amazing job with the product and the platform, the product suite and the platform that you produce. Can you dig in a little bit of that? Because it's really an amazing job, and it puts you, to me, right up there, so.
The best thing I can say is I don't have to do it. We're at CloudWorld here. All our customers are doing it for us. We've got about 36 customer stories. I can safely say not one of them talks about a single application. All of them are suite stories. Many of them extend back into our ERP, HCM system, supply chain, logistics. So the best thing I can say is I don't have to speak on behalf of the platform. Our customers are doing it here for us.
So. No, you can see that. I mean, the thing that also always, well, look, one of the things we were talking about on some of the watch party stuff today was the fact that Oracle itself is pretty much the only company that can claim hardware, software, end-to-end, everything, literally, which is not an easy thing to either do, or it's not anything to claim, it's harder to even do, but you are doing it. And to your point, CX extending into ERP and supply chain in particular is one that we always have seen as almost the CX function itself. So can you talk a little bit about that kind of actual integration at the back end too? Because it's, we talk about AI all day, but that integration at the back end makes a lot of companies successful if you do it right.
Okay, sure. So it's funny, I've had so many conversations about this today already, and
I knew that.
We were convincing people 2 years ago. We were still convincing people last year, but it's like this year something has changed. Something is different. Like, you don't have, with Gen AI and the realization that you need all of this enterprise data to make it really work for you, to answer the questions in the human way, to argue with Rob, you have to make sure it's moving fast. It's complete, right? You have all the data you need in the system, and it's secure. And I think customers are, from a CX perspective, like, I don't think they ever thought about infrastructure a year ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. But now they're like, oh, we get it. You have to have all the data in one place. It has to be secure. It has to be governed. And why don't you let one of the best companies in the world do that for you? You know what I mean? So
cool.
Yeah.
All right, now we're running short on time. So,
were you guys going to come on the show too?
Wait a minute, one more.
Okay, just do it.
Because I
just
think the
sure.
CX keynote is tomorrow, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can give us a little taste of what's going to happen tomorrow.
Yeah, you're like, the big scoop right now.
Something.
The thing that's under
There's
NDA,
nobody
right?
paying attention
Right,
right
this
now.
thing under NDA. This is pre-recorded, so.
I mean, we're going to keep letting our customers talk for us, just like Katrina just said. So it's and you'll see, hear from R&D. That's another thing. It's important here. You hear direct from the engineers who build the stuff, and there might be a partner or someone in there.
All right, so you guys will have to come on the show to elaborate then.
Happy to.
Okay, so we'll work with Kim on all of this.
Yeah, she's giving us the hook pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
What?
Kind of doing that with this. kind of cutting us
We
way
can keep
short.
talking if you want.
I'm happy to.
I don't want to get on her bad side.
Yeah, maybe she didn't
But
give me a good look.
we definitely appreciate you both stopping
We
by.
appreciate you.
I like the shoes.
Oh,
by the
thank you,
way.
man.
Absolutely.
Whoa. What is that little?
It's an L.
That's the heel coming over.
Oh, yeah, it's a heel. Yeah, they're very kind of like 80s looking. Huh?
Okay.
Those
now
are
we've
cool.
gotten
Sorry.
to the shoe portion of the show. No, it's always great to see you both. We better let them go because they got stuff to do. So we have Rob and Katrina. I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players, and we will see you sometime down the line, real time soon. Don't know where. Don't hold me to it.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. That was
Okay.
weird. I mean, it's good.
I kept wanting to jump in.
I got a question.
Yeah, wait a minute. You're not answering.
So how do you like the show? No, kind of weird. But I enjoyed both of the conversations, and of course the people. I mean, Oracle is really good to us because they always get us the best people to talk with.
Yeah, and you know what? And luckily, we always love to follow up with exactly those four, right? So we can always get them thanks to Oracle being so kind as to free their schedule so we can, and other people when we need them, and Rob Tarkoff, like that. They're great, and that's thanks to Kim Guillen, of course, who goes to bat for us all the time. You know what we need to do, actually, between the four of them and David Schmeier of Salesforce, who also committed to coming on the show. We should send notes to Kim and Ann and so on to start lining them up for the show.
Yeah, because we people are accustomed to us, as particularly towards the end of the year, doing our what is CRM in kind of the next year. So we already got to start thinking about what is CRM in 2025, man.
Yeah.
But before we do that, there is a call out because there's one person we've really wanted to have on the show from Oracle that we've pretty much known for like almost 20 years now, maybe 20 years. Like every year you go to first it was Open World, now it's CloudWorld, and we do the analyst gaggle, and it's with Steve Miranda, and it usually lasts about 20-25 minutes, and a lot of people are trying to get their questions in. So you get every year for like almost damn near 20 years we've had these 20-minute conversations with Steve Miranda. I have no idea what kind of person he is outside of those 20 minutes. So we are putting a call. We would love to have Steve Miranda. I know John Reed was trying to grease the skids for us a little bit. But Steve, we know you watched our watch party for your CX keynote or your applications keynote. We would love to have you join us, man. We would, after 20 years, we would love to have you join us. So,
you know what? Let's make that a crusade.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Like Richard the Lionhearted or something, or
well, we'll have Richard the what's
Chicken Heart?
No, that would be like a really timid crusade. I mean, we want you to come on the show, Steve. No, not really. What's up?
Timid heart. But no, we're serious. We would love. We've seen hints of a really good personality. I mean,
I actually have had an opportunity over those years on occasion to meet with him one-on-one, and he's a lovely guy. I mean, he's a genuinely really good human being, and I mean, it's very. I think he's been at Oracle 28 years now, something like that. There's nobody with more institutional knowledge of Oracle than him. I mean, nobody.
Well, Larry.
Yeah, well, Larry, you want to come on? I honestly, I probably want to have Steve on even more.
I do because, like I said, I only know him 20 minutes out of the year for the gag.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's do it, man. You and me, we go on campaign time. Steve Miranda on CRM Playaz before 2024 is over.
Yes, that's it. All right. So with all that said, we hope you enjoyed the half. I actually liked this. I liked this.
It was fun.
It was fun.
I was also checking scores and stuff.
Yeah, I was checking the stock price.
Right.
by the way, this is something we should probably talk about at some other point. But there's this article that came out. See if I can pull it up real quick, because it's just kind of fascinating and it's kind of scary and it's kind of, well, I don't really exactly know what to make of this, so I'm going to put this up and show you at this Mix Effect Pro thing. This app always goes down. All right, here we go. See if I can pull this up. So I'm going to make this a big screen. Baird is saying that Salesforce is their top large cap software pick, and the stock price actually it went up a little bit. So now we've got GenAI making stock picks for large cap software, and Salesforce is the. What do you think about this?
You know what? Years ago, many, I had a lot of experience with the commodities market in Chicago. I knew a lot of the traders. I worked with them on some political stuff. So I had experience in how that market works. I used to go to the floor. I used to do all kinds of things. And I watched human decisions being made all the time, and there was effectively what you saw was thousands and thousands of human decisions being made on millions and millions of factors being ingested by those thousands and thousands of human beings and a vector result of something. AI can't do that. There's no way AI can do that. I mean, it's literally not in the realm of AI, because AI, these are decisions being made. Look, if perfect example, you go on AI and ask them a question about the Electoral College or something like that, even just a simple question, they'll say, sorry, I can't talk about that. I can't talk about anything with elections.
You know what I'm waiting for? Like after a company reports its quarterly earnings, they do the quarterly earnings call. I'm waiting for like one of these Gen AI things just to do the call. You know, why get Mark Benioff?
Google Notebook does a folksy earnings call.
Yeah,
I just don't think, Gen AI has guardrails and restrictions up around it, necessarily. Those are going to impact how decisions get made on certain things. Look, some of the things that happen as a result of, stocks. I mean, stocks are events you can't take into account except as when they've happened, as they're happening. Actually, sometimes too. Sometimes it's okay. This just happened. The market. Look, perfect example. Bill McDermott, when he was at SAP one time, actually. When the rumor was about SAP buying Salesforce, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
And McDermott mocked Salesforce and said he wouldn't buy it. And SAP's stock price sunk after he said that. Literally sunk. And the direct reason was because a lot of people who were watching Sapphire saw that, heard that, stock went down. Wow. And it recovered. But I'm just saying, AI doesn't work that way. Right. That was based on a statement Bill McDermott made. That AI doesn't know that statement impacts a company. It can't actually. It's not sophisticated enough to know that. But that's what I'm saying. So no, I don't see that actually being. I see people doing it. I don't think it would be very smart.
No, I can't imagine. I wouldn't feel comfortable with it if my stockbroker says, "Oh, by the way, we're letting Baird manage your portfolio," right? Yeah, that wouldn't go over too good with me.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. You're fired. I'm going to Perplexity.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rabbit. I'm going to go to Rabbit.
Rabbit. Oh my God.
Manage my portfolio.
Yeah, let me see.
They by the way, updated. They've just implemented their large action model is finally in there.
Oh no, the large action model. Okay.
Yeah, no, that was the thing that everybody liked about it to begin with. They finally implemented the first round of it.
You know what? How is that different from all the agent talk that we've been hearing?
It's not a whole lot different, but it's in a little device that you can use. It's not, believe me, it's definitely an improvement. It still doesn't make it all that viable yet. But I'm just happened to.
Well, I bought it, so I'll do the update.
Yeah, do the update. I just did it yesterday.
All right. Well, while we're doing the update on the Rabbit, we hope you enjoy the rest of your week. We will be back next. Wait a minute. We'll be in Zoholics No, not Zoholics.
Not Zoholics,
Zoomtopia.
Yeah, we won't be back next week.
Yeah,
We'll
we-
try to do something from there with our buddy Dave Smith. And hopefully, if the person that we did reach out about, and we'll hear back from.
And maybe possibly a watch party. Well, so you stay tuned. We'll let you know. And in the meantime, I'm Brent Leary.
I'm Paul Greenberg.
We are the CRM players. And of course, if I can only find the one and only Minnie.
There she is.
Later.
Love ya.